Hi friends, I'm wearing this glass for the first time, and wearing it is not a fashion, it's a necessity. Please forgive me for today. Here is my ministry journey to the southeast of Nigeria. My ministry journey to the southeast of Nigeria is a story etched with the profound truth of God's acceptance in the face of human rejection. Just like the overcomer in Revelation chapter 12 verse 11, who conquered by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. I share this testimony as an encouragement for the next generation coming. And in fact, I pray that it may serve as a reminder that even when people reject your calling, unwavering faith in God will see you through, in the name of Jesus Christ. Friends, I recalled the prophetic insight of the late Reverend Dr. Musa Asake, who marked a turning point before my disengagement from R.N.A.R.D DCC. In his words, he said, and I quote, "Reverend Mainasara, leave that DCC, for you will face their attack after I am gone." Unquote. This statement spurred me to seek counsel from the late Reverend Babatan Juma Jacob, the then director of church-related ministry. When he asked about my preferred destination, my response was just simple: wherever the Lord leads. It was then that I learned of R.N.A.R.D DCC's urgent need for a northern pastor fluent in English to lead a church in their district. Despite my unfamiliarity with the southeast, I embraced this as God's direction. In January 2009, I embarked on a journey to Port Harcourt to understand the context before committing to the ministry over there. My sister's warm welcome and the fellowship at her own church, R.N.A.R.D Church in Abloma, under the leadership of Reverend Christian Elele Chintuo and the church secretary then, Elder Chief Dr. Victor Tubo, provided solace for me. Recognizing my pastoral calling and also hearing my experiences, the church secretary generously offered me an accommodation that in fact later became the respected Amanayambo Chief Palace of Abloma Kingdom. While Reverend Chintuo on his end then introduced me to the R.N.A.R.D DCC executive led by Reverend Dr. Ifeanyi Udochukwu Okereke. The process of my acceptance by R.N.A.R.D DCC unfolded with an undesirable sense of divine intervention, a powerful illustration of God's embrace amidst human opposition. In fact, when R.N.A.R.D requested my file from R.N.A.R.D, their leadership then attempted to sow seeds of doubt with their own way of allegations. However, the R.N.A.R.D DCC chairman's firm declaration where he said, "We will verify this allegation ourselves." This declaration effectively closed the chapter of R.N.A.R.D DCC. Ultimately, R.N.A.R.D DCC entrusted me with the pastoral care of a church on a vibrant Bonny Island. The journey to Bonny Island from Port Harcourt will almost take you about 2 hours by sea. During one of these trips, my wife was kidnapped by the sea pirates, and in fact they took her to the creek and kept her there for about 5 hours before the Nigerian Navy rescued her. Despite all these challenges, God used us to establish R.N.A.R.D Church Bonny with an auditorium that can accommodate over 300 worshippers. Glory be to God. After 7 years of labor, I was then transferred to Port Harcourt, in fact now to Abloma Church where I started. And when I was transferred there, I hope that is the place where I will take a little breather. However, after 2 years, I was transferred again to Akwa Ibom in a place called Idoro, where I found a prayer group with an unroofed parsonage. In fact, while staying in Ekwa Idoro, I lost over 5 million naira worth of property in that particular house due to moisture and rain because the house was unroofed. It was only a deck. Nevertheless, I stayed for about 4 years in Ekwa Idoro. But before I left, I was able to cover the house. During the creation of Port Harcourt DCC and the manpower sharing, I was privileged to fall under Port Harcourt DCC, and I was posted to Ekwa Edepie in Yenegua LCC of Bayelsa State. After 3 months of reporting at Edepie, the DCC election was conducted in Port Harcourt, and I was privileged to be elected as the Pioneer District Secretary of Port Harcourt DCC. In fact, I served for the first 3-year term and was re-elected for a second 3 years term. My dear good friends, throughout my journey, I have experienced rejection and acceptance. But ultimately, it is God's acceptance that has sustained me all this while. Despite the challenges and all the setbacks, I remain committed to serving only God and fulfilling this calling that He has called me. Thank you so much, my fellow brothers and sisters, my friends on social media, for your prayers and for your encouragement. Thank you for giving me your attention to listen to this my story. May the Lord continue to bless you. Thank you and goodbye.